Welcome back, everybody. Today we're talking about what is, at least right now in America, a hypothetical situation. But the things I'm going to cover in today's video are going to apply to a lot of non-hypothetical situations that are already going on in America as well. This video is going to be for everyone, obviously, in America, but also primarily oriented towards the primary protectors of the household. So if you are a father, a husband, etc., and it is your job within your family unit to be the primary protector, this video is specifically for you. And what I'm talking about, like I said, is going to be based on recent events, but also applicable to lots of things. So for those of you guys who don't follow me on my social media, there will be links here across the bottom of your screen. If you guys are not following me on non-Zuckerberg platforms, I recommend doing that because I can expose a lot of things that are going on that we can't expose with the censorship of Instagram. And so, as of when I'm recording this a couple days ago, the issues in the Middle East kicked off, and a video or several videos have been circulated by me and many others of a border town where armed men with rifles were going door to door, kicking doors in and shooting people who were defenseless, had no means to defend themselves. And if they weren't able to get in the house, they were lighting the houses on fire and essentially forcing the people to flee and then killing or capturing them. Now, obviously the folks over there have different rules that they have to live by. And as we've also seen, the criminal or foreign entity has rules that they don't follow, right? So those guys over there running around that territory with AKs, that was technically illegal, right? But if nobody can stop them, what does it matter? Now, obviously America, if you don't live in a Democrat city, the odds of something like this happening right now in 2023 are very low. If you live in a Democrat city, it's certainly possible anytime, as we've seen over the last 3 years. But what I want to talk about is if you are that primary protector, having the right tools to be able to defend yourself against multiple attackers who are there, and the police are simply not going to get there, or in this case, the military, are not going to get there in time to save you, right? It is your job as the primary protector of that household to be able to do that. So I want to talk about weapon selection and sort of the theory behind it, right? So as we saw in that scenario, they're running around with rifles. And again, there will be lots of scenarios that are analogous to this that have happened over the last 2 to 3 years in America, where large groups of people with an ideology behind what they're doing are trying to impart that will onto other people. And again, this has happened in America. So again, we're just gonna start out with kind of like what I don't recommend, I suppose, moving up to what I recommend the most, and that would be a pistol. So a full-size pistol, this is a Glock, but it's analogous to any other full-size pistol with a duty type of caliber in it. Glock, M&P, CZs, SIG, whatever the case may be. This is what many of you guys watching this video have and use as your primary home defense weapon, and you don't have another option. So picture yourself in that scenario that we just walked through, where there is 30 to 50 guys going through and just killing people, or killing people might be the best thing that could happen to those people in that scenario. Those types of scenarios happening. Is this what you want to defend your family and your house from those people with? I would strongly say or suggest no, right? Is it better than nothing? Yes. Is it the optimal choice? No. Why? Because we have limited capacity. It's relatively difficult to shoot quickly. It's relatively difficult to get accurate shots at distance. And we have to remember, when we're talking about firearms, they're a tool that gives you the ability to engage at distance. The greater the distance, the better in these types of scenarios, because the farther away the bad guy is, the safer you are inherently. I think everyone kind of gets that. And if your primary gun is a handgun and multiple attackers come to your house with long guns, you are at a disadvantage. It's just that simple. And if you guys have watched, again, any of my social media, this video doesn't have a sponsor, by the way. Check out my social media and subscribe, follow, all those things to support what we do here on the channel. But if you guys follow me on social media, you will see that attacks of random people by multiple attackers is on the rise in America. It has been for about 5 years now. Statistically speaking, this is not something I've made up. And a lot of times they're using long guns, right? So if you have 4 guys kick your door in, regardless of the political context, and you have this as your home defense option, sure, a lot of times when you do shoot at them, they flee, because a lot of people, criminals rather, prefer their victims to be unarmed. That said, if they want to stand and go toe-to-toe for you, and this is what you have, you are at a significant disadvantage simply because you chose the wrong tool for the job that you found yourself now working. So other options that you might want to consider is, first off, a long gun of some sort. That is the right answer for this scenario. regardless of which one you go with and what type you go with, it is a much better option than a pistol for all the reasons I just talked about. So on the less expensive, but probably not as great option is a shotgun, right? So it doesn't matter what it is, but the reason I picked the shotgun, and this one in specific, and all the weapons I picked today are picked for a reason. They're not all that expensive. They're analogs of other comparative options, but nothing out here is Gucci. Nothing out here is going to cost you $2,000. It's just not the case. And I realize right now, a lot of you guys watching this video who have, you know, your Glock 17 or your Glock 19 or whatever the case may be, as your home defense gun and nothing else, you're like, well, the economy is historically bad. It is. I agree with you. There's no doubt about it. There's no denying it. But guns are also historically cheap. So it might be time to set aside a little bit here and there every month or so, and eventually get up to the point where you can purchase something like this that's going to increase your lethality and increase your ability to defend your house and your family. So next best option, I guess you could say, for most people, and I'm saying that specifically for most people. I don't mean this for somebody who goes out and trains all the time, because if you go out and train all the time, you probably already have these tools, so it's probably not relevant to you. I'm talking about the person who doesn't and isn't a weapons expert, which is 95% of gun owners in America or more. So shotgun. This one here is a 12 gauge Savage. This can be had right now literally for around $150. It is not expensive. I have a full review of it. The gun works. It does. I don't know that all of them work, but this one certainly does. Additionally, you can get something like a Mossberg Maverick 88, which is extremely proven, for under $250. And again, versus your standard pistol, your lethality goes up tremendously and your ability to defend your family goes up tremendously. Now, shotguns like this, pump action ones, budget ones, are limited in that they are typically limited in capacity. This one can hold 5 rounds in the tube and 1 in the chamber. So 6 rounds, but 6 rounds of double-aught buck is formidable. Additionally, you can put like little Velcro sleeves and stuff on them to increase the carrying capacity, because generally speaking, what you go into a gunfight with in terms of ammo is what you leave that gunfight with. So you can't really, count on an ammo storage or something like that in most gunfight scenarios. That said, most people are not going to want to take more than 1 round of double-aught buck to the chest, especially at home defense type distances, and you can dispatch a lot of bad guys with one of these. Again, though, they are limited compared to the other options that we're going to talk about, but it is a better option for this scenario than your standard pistol, in my opinion. Obviously, if you get one with a greater capacity, like again, just as an example, in the budget range, the Maverick 88s that hold 8+1, that would be better, in my opinion, right? Because you're increasing your ammo capacity by 25 to 35%, depending on how you do the math. So a good option on a budget that definitely will improve your lethality. Obviously, most pistols these days have the ability to add lights, lasers, optics, etc. The same is true for shotguns. So those are force multipliers. The next one that we might want to look at is some sort of pistol caliber carbine. This is the Ruger PCC, but any quality pistol caliber carbine is one I would look at. And the reason I bring this up is a couple reasons. Number one, quality pistol caliber carbines right now, there's a lot of them that are under $700, a ton. A lot of them that are right around the $500 price point. If you guys follow my social media and see the deals, this is one of them. So a very proven gun, takes 9mm. So if you already have a 9mm pistol of some sort, you can use the same ammunition. So that is nice. This particular one takes Glock pattern magazines, so that way you can have standard capacity magazines up to 33 rounds if you so choose to do so. And again, like I talked about earlier, generally speaking, what you go into a gunfight with in terms of ammo is all you're gonna have. So PCCs, the downside for sure, 100% is going to be the lethality. It's not as good. You're getting the same lethality as you'd get with this, which is poor. That said, again, most of them will have up to 30 round mags readily available for them, so that is good. Additionally, if you guys watch any of my new shooter videos, the new shooters tend to be extremely comfortable with pistol caliber carbines.
Wonderful. That's all I can tell you.
There are a ton of reasons for that. You can watch my videos on the topic with those people, watch the new shooters and that kind of how they react. That is the way most people watching this video are going to react with these firearms as well. So lethality not as good. However, you can shoot it faster and more accurately by orders of magnitude than you can a handheld pistol. That has to do with the more points of contact on your body. Additionally, Typically, they're going to have better sighting systems. Typically, they're just easier to maneuver with, easier to engage with at distance. That's what I was trying to get at. So this one here, if I had to shoot a bad guy at 50 yards who's coming through my courtyard, for example, if I lived on a ranch or something like that, like the videos that you guys, if you follow me on social media, that prompted all this, it would be much easier to engage, even with iron sights, with this than it would be with this. Your probability of hits goes up tremendously. So pistol caliber carbines, again, you don't need to have new ammo. If you already have a 9mm that you use for your primary home defense gun, you can use the same ammo depending on the gun. You might be able to use the same mags, but it is something that I would definitely look at. And if I had to go into a gunfight with multiple attackers, I would much rather have this than have this. Now, what would I optimally recommend? Reality is, if you are the primary home defender for your family, I recommend you have a rifle in a, what do we want to call it? A moderate caliber, if you will. So not like a battle rifle, not a 308, not a 6.5 Creedmoor, not like a 7.62 by 5.4R, an intermediate caliber, an intermediate cartridge, something like the AK, the AR-15, etc., that is commonly available and is relatively easy to handle in terms of recoil, which is important because it's going to allow you to get multiple hits on multiple attackers quickly. So again, if you have bad guys that are coming in your house with long guns, very likely they're going to have an AR-15 or an AK, especially in America. Those are the most common long guns out there by far. So you want to at minimum, match their power. Now, as the home defender, you have the ability to fight from the defense, which is better, right? So you have that ability, but if you have 3 dudes coming in with AKs or AR-15s, you're gonna wanna at least have a minimum of an AK or an AR-15, right? That kind of makes sense. Number one, you get greater capacity. Most of these, well, all of them, AR-15s and AKs will take, standard capacity 30-round magazines and more if you want to do that. Reliability on most of these guns is very, very proven. There's not a lot of bad ones out there on the market, and ease of shooting is also very good. Typically, they're going to be moderate recoil, and again, allow you to get multiple hits on multiple attackers quickly. Lethality compared to something like this is much greater. You guys can see the statistics on that. Google it if you want to, but trust me on that. Rifle wounding ballistics are much, much better than pistol wounding ballistics. You don't want to count on someone, bleeding out on your property, because while they're bleeding out with a pistol wound, for example, they can still do a lot of damage to you, particularly if there's a team of them. So again, I recommend everyone have some sort of long gun if you are the primary home protector, regardless of the situation. Again, I kind of touched on it at the beginning, but America is on a decline. We have been on a decline for a long time, and scenarios like this, regardless of what prompts them, I guarantee you are going to be on the increase. So as an example, this is a Palmetto State Armory GF3 AK. This gun has thousands of rounds on it. You can see my full review if you want to. But right now, these, without the furniture and stuff, but with standard furniture, you can buy one of these for $599. They're extremely durable, reliable guns. AKs, just in general, are simpler than ARs, but it's not like you can't learn how to use an AR-15. You absolutely can. But if you don't plan on investing any time in training, AK might be the way to go. The round is going to be a little bit more expensive right now as of when I'm filming this video, but that ebbs and flows over time. Controls are very simple. We have our safety and charging handle. Sights are essentially caveman proof. Oftentimes the front sight with that rounded hood there are called the Caveman EOTech, because a whole lot of people who don't know anything about guns have used these over the years, particularly at 50 yards and in, without knowing what they're doing, with a lot of success. So AK, great option. There are a lot of great options for AKs. I have a top 5 video, I believe right now. It's still up. I don't think YouTube took that down, of AKs that you guys can check out. But again, they are affordable. So right now, rifle like this, which can give you a lot of capability for something like this, can be had for literally $600. Again, follow me on my socials, sign up for my email at the website here on your screen if you guys are looking for those deals, because I send them out and post them every single day. All right, lastly, what I would recommend probably for the vast majority of you is an AR-15 of some sort, particularly in America. It gives you a lot of other options in our nation. It's the most common rifle in America by far. Not even close, far and away, the most common. So an AR-15 is extremely easy to shoot well. It's soft shooting, but the round has decent terminal performance. Obviously, there are way more powerful rounds than the 5.56 round. But again, in terms of lethality, compared to this is orders of magnitude better. Additionally, it gives you ease of mounting optics if that's what you want to do. Of course, you can use iron sights in this situation if you are on a budget, and you will perform very well very likely if you're using an iron-sighted AR-15 at, let's say, 50 yards and in, your hits will go up, especially under stress, especially with a non-super proficient shooter. Your hits will probably go up at least 50% with an AR-15 versus a standard pistol. And again, it gives you greater standoff distance. If you have a bunch of people roving the streets, it will teach them to stay away pretty quickly when the folks walking with them start dropping before they even get to your house. So this one here is a Stag Tactical. It's FDE, so it looks kind of fancy, but right now you guys can find these for, right, I think the other day I posted a link to one of these for $749. So that is not the cheapest. There are good AR-15s, and I legitimately mean this, like they're not the greatest, but there are ones that are still good and will get the job done for under $500 right now in America. I have a buyer's guide series. If you guys are interested, check it out. It goes over all the details. But nothing here needs to be extremely expensive, but everything here that I've shown you, at least in my testing to date, has been extremely effective. And one thing a lot of people will always talk about when these videos come up that particularly are seen by newer people to guns, if that makes sense. Why don't you just call the cops, etc. Well, think about how long it takes the police, typically, just think about recent events that have happened in the news. How long does it take police officers to dispatch like an active shooter? Typically pretty long. It's not typically something that happens quickly. Imagine if there were 20 of them, 30 of them, 5 of them, whatever the case may be. It's going to take them longer just to respond, not only to respond, but to be able to engage and eliminate them. In the meantime, your family is huddled behind the bed and you are standing there trying to defend them, again, as if I haven't driven it home. Hopefully not with one of these. That is what I'm going to say. Pistols are great. There's nothing wrong with pistols. I love pistols. But for this scenario, which again is very likely, I'm filming this in October of 2023. If you guys are watching this in October 28, I guarantee, well, I don't want to guarantee, I'd be willing to bet large sums of money that incidents like this have been on the rise since I filmed this video, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Obviously, our border has been open for my entire life. Over the last 10 to 20 years, the number of people coming across it has increased exponentially. We have no idea who they are. We know the countries that the ones we catch are coming from. Many of those countries are extremely concerning for this type of action. And, you know, for at least 20 years now, 20 plus years, there have been ongoing operations with active sleeper cells that we all know about. It's published out in the open, and at some point they're not going to be sleeper cells anymore. Just kind of all there is to it. Couple that with the ordinary, or the rise rather, of multiple attackers doing what we would consider ordinary crimes. Yeah, I suppose that's really it. I implore you, if you are the primary defender of your house and you are somebody who just has a handgun for home defense, you might want to rethink that. I would highly recommend it. And honestly, there's really not a lot of downside outside of the economic cost, which I understand is significant for a lot of people, particularly these days. But because the economic outlook doesn't look so good, the outlook of having to use one of these items in this type of scenario only goes up, unfortunately. Right? So that sort of is what it is. Again, I have reviews of all of these items if you guys are looking for greater details. And again, these are sort of just analogs for the category of items as well. But my hope in making this video is that somebody out there watches this who is in the scenario, which I'm telling you, the number of people who own pistols only as home defense items and know nothing else is high. It's a high percentage. And I recommend that we fix that before it becomes a problem. So again, my goal in making the video, what I was going to say there is that if this makes one person be able to properly defend their families in a situation they wouldn't have otherwise been able to, then the video is worth it. So if you guys like this type of content, anything like that, if you know someone who's in this type of scenario, share this video with them, share this across your networks. And again, hopefully it reaches a lot of people and people have a awakening of what's going on in the world that we live in before the awakening is at the end of a barrel, of a bad guy's barrel. So that's it. That's all I got for you. Very exciting video. Positive video, right? But yeah, that's it, guys. If you like the video, make sure you hit subscribe because I do videos like this and then detailed videos on these items all the time. Hit the notification bell. If you've done both of those and you're not seeing 2 to 4 videos a week here on the channel, sign up for the email at the website here on your screen. This email goes out once a month, and that's it. So it has all the videos since my previous month's email went out, so it's not spammy, again, once a month. But that way it ensures that you guys get my content, and it's not being censored by a big big media, if you will, algorithm. Additionally, if any of these items go on sale, lights, lasers, optics, ammo, etc., guns, it goes out in my daily deals email. It goes out every day, as the name indicates. It has 8 of the best deals that we find around the internet. If it's in that email, it's the cheapest I know of for that product anywhere on the internet on that particular day. So that way it saves you guys some time because I've already done the comparisons for you, and hopefully saves you some money on the items that you are picking up as well. That's it, guys. That's all I got for you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.